welcome to Long Skies Gear, the Rickenbacker 4003S bass guitar, a classic prog rock, heavy rock, new wave kind of instrument, I think. Something that I've been curious about for over 30 years, but I've always played Fenders. I've played Fender Jazz and Fender Precision. But finally, I've got hold of my very own Rickenbacker. It's a little bit about the construction and so on. It is a through neck design, as opposed to the bolt-ons of the Fenders. And I think that through neck gives it a certain kind of attack and a certain kind of growl in the sound that they're famous for. It has two single coil pickups here with this very distinctive bridge pickup cover. In this light you might not be able to see it, but I'll put some photographs up later. It has 2 volume and 2 tone controls, and obviously a toggle switch for blending the pickups from bridge, neck, or the in-between. So in that respect it's similar to a Les Paul, but the layout of the controls is opposite to a Les Paul, and it confuses me a little bit. There's also a very interesting switch, what they call a vintage modern switch, and if you pull the tone control out, it drops a capacitor into the circuit of the bridge pickup, and it lowers the output and it thins out the bass a little bit. The modern sound has a fuller tone, which I think makes the instrument more versatile, really, because there's a tendency, some people criticise the 4000 series for not having enough weight compared to, say, something like a P bass, a precision bass. But with this modern design, I think it has more than enough bass for anything, really, for any applications. So yeah, the 4003S differs from the 4003 that people are more familiar with, perhaps, in that it doesn't have the sharks inlays on the fretboard. It has dots. It doesn't have a bound body. I think that makes it, personally, I think it makes it more comfortable, because the edges don't have a binding and they're slightly rounded, and the contouring, for me personally, works better. It's a very comfortable bass. After the exceptionally sort of comfortable ergonomic design of a Fender, I was a little bit worried about a Rickenbacker being sort of hard and boxy. But no, there's none of that. It's very comfortable indeed. The other major difference with the 4003S as opposed to the 4003 is this is a simple mono output, whereas the 4003 has the Ricker sound stereo, whereby you can take the bass pickup and the treble pickup separately. You can treat them separately, you can amplify them separately. But again, coming from Fender, coming from my normal way, I'm quite happy to have that simple mono jack output. What we heard in the introduction there was playing with the plectrum, which is still quite unusual for me, but I thought that to get that classic prog rock kind of attack, I needed to play with the pick. What I will do soon, the next clip that we're going to see, is a longer version of that, and I'll continue to play with the pick, but I will take, I'm recording directly, so I'm going straight into the interface and into Cubase, where I'm applying a little bit of software compression. What you'll see on the next clip, I'll put captions up saying what I'm doing as I do it. so I think there what we heard was the Rickenbacker in full voice, doing that clanking, roaring rock sound that it's famous for, and nobody was disappointed. I'll admit that that's primarily the reason why I bought it, and that's very exciting. As I go into Napier's Bones recordings with a new instrument, it makes me think afresh about the bass parts, because the example that I used there was from Napier's Bones' Psychic Driving from the Alpha Omega Man album, and originally at the time recorded in 2017. I used a precision bass with software Plexi. So going into the next Napier's Bones album, I'll be using the Rickenbacker for all the aggressive stuff. So what I'm going to do now, I will just hand over to a short section of unaccompanied noodling, for want of a better word, and I'll take it through some of the pickups, some of the tone control settings, and the vintage and modern, but without any kind of backing track, and that will allow us to hear more precisely the differences that these changes make, and it'll also hopefully show that the Rickenbacker doesn't just snarl. It can do lots of other things. There are lots of tonal variety. So for this initial episode of the 4003 Rickenbacker, for Long Skies Gear, I will say goodbye for now.